All right, it is Friday evening. It is just past 10 o'clock. We're going to kind of try to zip through this because we've got a lot of stuff to get through for tonight. Apologies for everyone watching on Twitch TV. We had a minor fatal camera accident before we got started, so you may notice some difference in the quality and in the position that I'm in. If you're watching on Facebook, you've got a very large view with the camera and sitting in the background. If you're on Twitch TV, you're noticing it's a little bit more compact than usual. Would love to be able to show you the entire screen, but unfortunately, we have a more limited view on Twitch TV for tonight. Would love to be able to stream with just one camera onto multiple devices and platforms, but I don't think that's going to be working too well at this point. We see again the potential for more chances of rain into and around portions of the area, but for right now, we're looking at limited conditions for the chances of rain overnight, even though they are still possible. Matter of fact, let's take a look and see what that looks like on here from Titan radar. Most of the activity right now has gone as we expected, well east of Chattanooga, and that's going to continue on that direction. But if you notice back to the west, let me scoot out of the way here for everybody on Twitch TV. We're noticing again some more scattered light showers well back over toward Middle Tennessee. That's that front we've been expecting to make its way through the area, and as it does, we'll be seeing clearing skies into tomorrow. But in the meantime, top of the hour, 10 o'clock Eastern time, we've got some scattered light activity, and that's really about all that we have for right now. We'll be seeing more potential out of this. Just want to reiterate, if I hadn't said it, this is News 12 WDEF News 12 from Chattanooga, Tennessee, USA, for anybody tuning in from way out of town. Thanks to our West Shore Home Picture of the Day submitter, Joseph Kimmery. Hope I'm saying that correctly. Nice view of a roadrunner in St. George, Utah. No sign of any coyotes carrying any boxes marked Acme. And again, remember Acme, for over 50 years, the leader in creative chaos. That brought to you by Tiny Toons Adventures. If you've got pictures, roadrunners or otherwise, had a lot of pictures this week in regards to wildlife, and thanks to everybody for sending those in. Hopefully I'll get a picture of the owl from my apartment complex that was wandering through having a snack last night. Pictures at WDEF.com, or drop them to X, Instagram, or Facebook comments section. We could use some, so if you got a picture out there, we'd love to see what it is you're seeing. You don't have to use your name. You can be anonymous if you want to, but if you do have a picture, please send them along to us. We'd love to see more about what you're seeing out there, and more importantly, share them with everybody else on our West Shore Home Picture of the Day. Very close to normal today, not as hot as it was yesterday, and officially nothing in the rain gauge for today. We could use a lot more on that. For the entire month, we have only gotten about 0.08 of an inch. So far, we're equaling what we wound up with just about into September. So an inch and a half almost behind for the month, closing in on 5 inches behind for the entire year, and that is where we are seeing some major problems. Parts of the Mississippi Valley, especially the Gulf Coast, from anywhere around Mississippi, Louisiana, panhandle of Florida, back into parts of Texas, we are seeing again a lot of activity here where it comes to drought. Need a lot more rainfall from here. Now, typically, some of this area of the country usually becomes again a little bit more rain prone by the time we get into late October, early December, somewhere between there. But for right now, the problem we've got is that things are getting worse. We're looking at more wildfire danger. We had that rural wildfire take place a couple of days ago, and now the drought monitor from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is putting us into a severe drought category. That means wildfire risk is going to increase over the course of the next couple of weeks. As long as we don't have rainfall, we're going to continue to see again into the area for chances of rain. We need that rainfall to help us catch up. We're not seeing it. Are we going to be getting any of that? Well, that's a very good question, because according to the Climate Prediction Center, we are going to spend the next 6 to 10 days with a minimal, just above average amount of rainfall expected. But that's not helping too much as we continue again to see the potential for more wildfires out there. Now, yesterday, with the clouds and the rainfall passing on through, We did not have that many, but into today, numerous wildfires starting off from East Texas all the way, especially into the Carolinas and the Virginias. And that doesn't include specifically, no new fires reported here, specifically here in the News 12 viewing area. But things are dry enough to where we're going to continue to see the probability of some more burn bans out across the area. The Chattanooga Hamilton County Air Pollution Control Bureau, you can find out more what they are saying at apcb.org if you'd like to know more about what's going on. But for Saturday and Sunday of this upcoming weekend, a burn ban has been enacted, assuming that is for just Chattanooga and Hamilton County. So if you're planning on burning off anything in the way of brush in the yard, anything in the way of old leaf and yard waste, trash burning, that's really so 1950s and 60s, and that is not the thing to do with a lot of the stuff that has the chemicals in there. So anything involving burning this weekend, you're not doing it in Hamilton County or Chattanooga proper. So again, this is something to take a look at where it comes to the possibility of some more maybe some more wildfires spreading out there. So please keep that in mind. Again, that's from the Air Pollution Control Bureau, apcb.org. If you'd like to know more on their daily report, you can get that. There's also a phone number you can call for more wildfire conditional possibilities out there. They record that apparently every day. So stay tuned for more on that with News 12, and we'll keep you updated throughout the rest of the weekend. We're not seeing too much in the way of anything involving changes for right now into problems for tomorrow where it comes to the eclipse. This cold front is on its way. This area of low pressure slowly making its way off the coast and into and around the western Atlantic. This front will be making its way on through tonight into tomorrow. This storm system kicking up some moisture off the Atlantic and into around the Tennessee River Valley area. This is where the really heavy stuff is going to happen tonight. This is where we have a lot more energy wrapped around this system, and that's going to be heading over toward the East Coast. With this, we'll be seeing the potential of heavier weather. Anything north of I-70, that'll be the potential of stronger weather into later on tonight. So if you have any plans for traveling upwards of I-70, St. Louis, toward Chicago, Indianapolis, Ohio, anything north of Lexington, Kentucky, there could be, again, some stronger portions of winds and storms up into that general area. So for right now, that appears to be the worst threat for the time being. We might see a rumble of thunder, but really not including in that for the time being. Through the weekend, temperatures on the mild side for Sunday, not quite so mild as we go toward Sunday itself. Saturday looks very mild. Continued windy out across the area, and again, we see the potential for some much cooler weather for the early part of next week. Upper 50s for highs, lower 40s for low temperatures. Still no sign of any frost coming our direction, so good news on that. But once again, we could see that at just about any point in time. Average first frost around this area of the country, if I'm not mistaken, is somewhere around the first to second week of November. So something to think about on that. If you have plants outdoors, I've got 2 avocado trees and 1 orange tree that I've got to get off my balcony at some point. But so far looking good. And then another chance of rainfall coming up as we go into around next week. Question from Jeff Peterson on Facebook. Exact definition between breezy and windy, specifically where I'm coming from and using our icons on here. Technically, no. Again, it's whatever you want to use for your thesaurus to be able to say it's going to be blustery, it's going to be windy, it's going to be breezy. It's going to be kind of rough and tumble out there when it comes to winds, or gusty even, things like that. Using those, again, I don't have a specific definition. I know that the National Weather Service many years ago, when it was more in use on the Beaufort wind scale, there were definitions to where it was gentle breeze, moderate, gale, gusty, things like that, all the way on through. From here, I usually save when I use the breezy icons, it's usually for about 10 to 15, maybe 20 miles per hour, and anything over 20 miles per hour, especially gusty conditions. I'll usually say windy on here. That's just my personal preference. Other meteorologists, other TV stations will probably have their own definition and their own use. And for a lot of people, it's like interchangeable, so it doesn't really matter one way or the other. But for me specifically, when I say this, usually it's going to be 20, 25 miles per hour plus. And then if it's going to be very gusty, may have an icon change up here for that. But in general, between windy and breezy, I've never been lectured by any meteorology professors about a specific amount of anything involving one term or another. And there are a lot of people out there who will tell you that if it's 20 miles per hour, it's breezy. If it's 21 miles per hour, it becomes gusty, to where just like at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, that becomes evening instead of afternoon. So there are definitions and derivations, but in the 3 decades plus that I've been doing this, I haven't really been lectured on anything involving a major amount of problems where it comes to the definitions here specifically. You'll see again like partly cloudy, partly sunny. Now there are some definitions for things like that to say it's 1/3 to 1/2 of the sky covered. Overcast has to be like 9/10 of the sky covered all the way in through there. Otherwise, there's broken skies. There's a lot of definitions like that. That's a good question on there. But I mean, specifically, yeah, there could be a specific answer, but for me specifically, not particularly anything involving that. But very good question. Thank you for tuning in and asking that. Rest of the forecast is always available. Twitch TV. Sorry, you can't see that on there. I'm going to have to adjust the definition of the camera here to get that zoomed out so everybody can see everything, but that'll do for the evening show for tonight. Again, that burn ban in effect with those windy conditions. Anything involving fire or flame this weekend, barbecue pit, welding equipment, a cigarette butt tossed out the window, that could start a major wildfire. Yes, we've got some rainfall. No, it's not enough to tamp down everything, and all it's going to take is one good breeze, one good pile of dry debris, and we are going to have some major problems out there. So please use caution with anything involving fire or flame coming up this weekend. Nothing going on in the Gulf or the Western Atlantic or the Bahamas at this point in time. Meanwhile, let me back this up just a bit so we can see this a little clearer. Tropical storm Sean is on its way through the Atlantic, taking more of a westerly course for right now. So in about a week's time, this will be winding up in the Caribbean and the Bahamas if it heads right to the west. Now, again, these things can start to curve a little bit. And notice way back here, several of the European models are starting to take the curve back to the north again. So whether or not this is a threat to the United States or Florida or Cuba or the Bahamas or anything like that, little iffy to tell for right now, but it does matter that you keep track of what's going on, especially if you're traveling. We're in October, yes, but that is still a part of hurricane season, so we need to watch that very carefully. And Sean, again, will be making its way westward, but I'd say it's another week or so away from the Leeward Islands probably, and into the Bahamas probably even more than that. So 7 to 10 days for this to go all the way across the ocean, unless something kicks it into gear and makes it move a little bit faster. Now, this mess down here, and apologies again on Twitch TV, kind of hard to see a lot of this, but this mess of clouds just off of Africa, that is the new storm system that has developed, and that one will be following Sean as it goes back toward the west. Right now, let me just double check here to see what's going on. It looks like a 40% chance of development for right now, and turning into an 80% chance of development later on. So in the next 2 to 7 days, we could definitely see some changes with this coming on through. Now we've had Sean, that's making its way on through. This, if it develops, will be the T-name storm. This will be Tropical Storm Tammy if it gains enough strength. So that is where we see the potential for another storm developing here. And we still have a month and a half to go from hurricane season, so we've got a ways to go on this. So now's the time to make certain that we all pay attention to what is coming our direction. Next week, Thursday, the Great Shakeout, your opportunity to practice earthquake awareness and get your emergency plan ready to go. Winging it is not a plan, so get that ready. Make certain people are aware of what's going on in your business, in your school, in your place of worship, at your home. Who do people contact if communications are a problem? Where do you meet if you are at various places during the day or night and an earthquake takes place? Do you gather in front of your house? Do you go to a relative's place? Do you go to the grocery store? Do you go to the police station? Where do you meet up with people? That is the type of questions you need to ask now before we get into an emergency situation. So please use caution, think ahead, and join the Great U.S. Shakeout and find out more at shakeout.org. You can also find out more about getting your weather radio ready to go. We have a short video that teaches you how to do it, and if you'd like to know more about that, that's also available at our website, wdef.com. Teachers and administrators, we'd love to be at your school, but you'd have to invite us, and that's an important step in the Food City Weather in the Classroom program. All you have to do is go to the Weather in the Classroom page at wdef.com for more. A great opportunity to learn more so we can talk about things like climate change and atmospheric optics, rainbows and fog and all sorts of things like that. Lightning is one of my favorite topics to talk about, so a good opportunity to find out more there. 2 weeks from this Sunday, actually a week from this Sunday, will be the next star party at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, Clarence T. Jones Observatory on 10 North Tuxedo Avenue. Again, this will be Sunday the 22nd. The topic for the lecture will be volcanoes in the solar system. Io is one of my favorite places for that. And of course, you've always got Olympus Mons on Mars. The featured constellations will be those of the Summer Triangle. Hopefully, again, weather will be good, but we're still about a week away from this, so we'll have to see how that goes. But more information on Facebook at UTC Jones Observatory, or search Clarence T. Jones Observatory at the website utc.edu, University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Be able to find out a lot more there through their website and keep up to date with what's going on. Rest of the next several days, can't really see too much of a problem. We'll skip over the Friday section of this. And again, anything with fire or flame, time to use a lot of caution out there. We'll look at breezy conditions into the weekend. So for the Food City on the Grillcast certified Angus beef, look ahead, much milder on Saturday, but breezy, and then much cooler on Sunday. Temperatures back in the lower 60s at best. It's going to be in the upper 50s throughout much of the rest of the day. So expecting a breezy day and maybe the chance of a shower or two on Sunday afternoon. No severe weather. Doubt we're going to be seeing anything in the way of problems where it comes to anything involving thunderstorms even. So just keep that in mind. Maybe a shower out there for Sunday, and that could be a bit of a concern there. That should just about do it, I think. No school tomorrow morning, so we'll skip over the Greater Chattanooga Orthodontics bus stop forecast. We'll have more on that. Chip Chapman will be back from his sabbatical coming up on Monday morning, bright and early at 5 a.m. And, of course, through the weekend, meteorologist Todd Heislip will have more on your forecast on News 12 at 11 on both Saturday and Sunday. Any other questions? Again, keep up to date with what's going on with the weather on our website, wdef.com/weather, and stay tuned for much more with News 12 on air and online. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. This has been News 12's Weather Overtime on Twitch TV and on Facebook Live. Hope you have a happy and safe weekend. A lot of things going on out there, so please use caution. We want to see you back here watching things on Monday, so stay tuned for more. And again, pay attention. Let's be careful out there, as Sergeant Phil used to say. And stay tuned for more with News 12 through the weekend, and we'll enjoy seeing you back here on Monday. Thanks for joining us for Weather Overtime for Friday night.